guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. So for today's video, we are going to be discussing all of the books that I read in the month of January. Jumping right in with our statistics, I read 3 books, 1 fantasy, 2 romances. I read a total of 1,725 pages, and my average star rating was a 4.2. Now, yes, I only read 3 books, which is not really normal for me. Normally, I read between 5, maybe 6 books. So 3 books is a little interesting. I think I may or may not be getting into a little reading slump. I'm not sure if it was the books that I read. Maybe I just didn't pick ones that were like what I actually wanted to read, because one of them was specifically for a video that I'm currently filming. So I'm not exactly sure what was going on, but yeah, so 3 books. Let's jump right into those. And then I also have a TBR, but we know that I cannot stick to a TBR to save my life. So they're more of like hopefuls that I'm probably not gonna read, but am gonna try to read. So let's just get right into it. So starting off with an absolute bang, I read Redeeming Six, which was the first book of the year, which was fantastic, and it was obviously the first book of January. Redeeming Six is part of the Boys of Tommen series, and I love the Boys of Tommen series with my entire heart. I read the first book, Binding 13, I think in October or November, maybe September, but they were the best. They were the best. I read Binding 13 and Keeping 13 in the month. That was the only books I read in whatever month it was. It was literally just Binding 13 and Keeping 13 because they were so good. I felt like no other book could ever compare. So I feel like they put me in a slump because they were so good, but it wasn't really a slump because I went right back to reading after that. So I don't really know. Anyway, I read Saving Six not too long ago and decided I wanted to pick up Redeeming Six. Redeeming Six had me in absolute tears. If you don't know, this is the second book to Joey and Aoife. So the first book of Joey and Aoife is Saving Six. This is the second book. Joey is Shannon's older brother from Binding 13, and Aoife is obviously the female main character, but she doesn't really have any relation to the first characters in the first books. You've heard me say this, and I'm going to say it again. Joey and Aoife were literally made for each other. I don't think there are any characters in any other book that you could possibly give me that are more soulmates than these two are. Now listen, Binding and Keeping 13, like, I don't have any words for those books because they are so good. They were the perfect start to this entire series, but they don't have the emotional depth that Joey and Aoife do. Joey and Aoife have gone through so much. Obviously, we know Shannon's struggles, and if you've read the books, like, you know her struggles, and you know just everything that happens in that book on Shannon's part, whereas Johnny, you know what his struggles are throughout the book if you've read it. But Joey has so many more struggles that just come out differently, and he expresses differently, I guess, than you would say Shannon. So it's just so much more, basically, is this book. There's just so much more to it. Obviously, you can see by the length, like, this was a pretty big book. I thought on Goodreads it said 1,000 pages, but I lied. It was 766, which I believe is like what this says too. But I could have sworn it said like 1,006 pages on Goodreads. Maybe they changed it. I really don't know. So of course, Redeeming Six is going to be a 5 stars, no doubt whatsoever in my mind. So if you haven't read the Boys of Tommen series, you must. I was very intimidated, believe me, because of the like Irish slang or whatever that they use, and the glossary literally at the beginning of the book, which was like 5 pages long. So I was very intimidated, and I was like, I'm not reading this if it has a glossary. I'm not gonna understand anything. Trust me, context clues are your best friends. It is literally so easy to just read out a sentence, read the next sentence with a weird word in it, you'll understand it. So yeah, 5 stars to Redeeming Six. Literally probably one of my favorite books of the entire year, and it was the first book that I read this year. So when you see my tier ranking video, she's gonna go right up to the top. The next book that I read was Addicted to You. I don't have the physical copy of this book, unfortunately, so I will be holding up my Kindle because that's what I read it on. Now, I couldn't really describe Redeeming Six to you and give you the plot of it because you would need to have the backstory of Saving Six. So that's why I didn't explain the plot to you, but I will explain the plot of Addicted to You. we're following our two characters, Lily Calloway and Lauren Hale, and they both have these addictions. Now, Lily and Lauren are both from two very, very, very rich families, so it's taking place in Pennsylvania because they both go to UPenn, which is an Ivy League college here in the United States, if you don't know. So we're taking through Lily's point of view throughout the whole book, and we're going through all of her struggles. We also see Lauren's struggles as well. Everybody calls him Lo, though, because I don't know, everybody just calls him Lo. We meet a bunch of characters along the way, which I'm super excited to read about as well, because literally the characters in that book are going to be characters throughout the whole series. So I'm super excited to get into that. I also know that the series is super long because I know after Addicted to You is Ricochet, I'm pretty sure. And then after that is another book. And then that concludes, I think, Lily and Lo's point of views. And then we go on to the sisters. Let me tell you, these sisters are so cute. I'm literally obsessed with all the sisters. I'm pretty sure there's one younger than Lily and then two older than Lily. And all of these sisters have a flower name. So there's Lily, Poppy, I'm trying to think, Daisy, and Rose. That's all of them. So we have Lily, Poppy, Daisy, and Rose. And oh my gosh, I literally love that. When I first saw that in the book, I was like, no way. Like, I don't know why. That just made me so happy. It was so cute. And then we try to get over these addictions that they had. That is basically, I think, the conflict of the whole story, obviously, is these addictions and how they play into Lauren and Lily's relationship. This is also a closed door romance, I'm pretty sure, too. So when we get spice scenes, there really isn't anything. You get like the tiniest bit, and then it just fades to black and then into a next chapter. So if you're worried about like that stuff, then there's really nothing. I felt like it wasn't really going anywhere at points. Like I didn't really know how everything was gonna play out most of the time. And I feel like I was kind of forcing myself to love it when I really just liked it, which was really disappointing because I've heard such great things about this book. But I'm pretty sure it's mainly like about the entire series. I don't think it's just this book in particular, because especially looking at the Goodreads and like Fable ratings, there wasn't a lot of high ratings, which was very confusing to me at first when I first saw it. But overall, Addicted to You was great. I'm super excited to pick up the next book, especially because of the way the first book ended. And my final rating, I think I'm gonna have to go with a 3.5, just because I was kind of bored, but I really, really enjoyed it, especially towards the end of the book. And the characters kind of just made everything like so fun, especially like the variety of characters that we had. Again, I always say this about diversity in characters, and I think that's just so important. So when you have like one crazy character and then you have like kind of a laid back character, and it's just the diversity of characters really is just like fantastic, and I just love it. So we got a lot of that in this book, which I really appreciate and which I really love. So I think I'm gonna stick with a 3.5. Lastly, I read Quicksilver by Callie Hart. I enjoyed it a lot more than I thought I was going to. I didn't know what my kind of hopes were, I guess, for this book, because literally everybody loved this book, and it was the top third most rated on Goodreads. So I was like, this has to be like fantastic, right? So I picked it up and it was really good. There were some points where it was like very predictable and very cringy too, but the only cringy things that were said was from one single character. So it really wasn't all of the characters being cringy, which then would be like just no, but it was just this one specific character, and it was only like a few times. I feel like the magic system and just like the Fae was really easy to understand. Like I knew what the task that Saris was trying to complete, like I knew what everything was, and normally in fantasy books it's kind of like hard for me personally to like understand what's going on at times, but I feel like this book was like perfect for that. So I think if you're just getting into reading fantasy, maybe pick up like The Cruel Prince or something like that and then jump into Quicksilver. I think that will be very beneficial because again, it's very easy to understand the magic system and just the goals of all the characters. Also, the men in here are great, literally all of them. Renfis, I love you to death, you're amazing. Kingfisher, your name is a mouthful, but I liked you. I think your first appearance was fantabulous. Like, whoa. But Renfis, you will always have a special place in my heart. Carrion turned out okay? Question mark? Never thought that I was gonna say that at all, but I liked him. And my favorite part are these. The freaking butterflies. So, Quicksilver is about our main character. Her name is Ceres, and she's currently living in the Third, which is basically a very poor part of the country that she lives in. She has to pickpocket and steal her way around, and because they get only like small rations of water, she goes and she steals water from like the rivers and stuff. So one day she gives her brother Hayden something in a bag, and Hayden, I don't remember if he takes it or she gives it to him. I can't really remember that part, but Hayden has the bag with something in it, and Hayden gets stopped by guards. So Ceres is trying to protect her brother, saying that she gave him the bag with the something in it. So she gets taken away, and then she fights off these guards, and she winds up opening a gateway where Death himself literally carries her out and through the gateway and into the Fey world. Does that kind of sound a little like another book that we may or may not know? ACOTAR, perchance? Not exactly sure, because mostly when I was reading this book, I want to say like 75%, I wasn't really thinking that. It was only when I went onto Goodreads and into the YouTube comments, because I was using the audiobook, and I only really realized that like 75, like I said, percent into the book. And I was like, wait, why is it kind of like ACOTAR? So yeah, that is the premise of the book. It was really, really good. I think I'm going to rate it a 4 stars. Again, it was really, really predictable at points, which kind of annoyed me a little bit, because literally every single thing that happened, I was like, oh, yep, that's gonna happen. And then it wound up happening, which was really sad. I was hoping for more of like a like crazy plot twist or something that I wasn't gonna guess. There was one thing though that I didn't guess, but literally other than that, I guess like everything that was gonna happen. So that's about it. Again, the magic system is like super easy to learn, and that's about it for this book. So now that we are done talking about my January reads, let's go on to talking about my hopefuls for February / TBR, but I'm probably not gonna read all of them. Okay, so first we have Ignite Me by Miss Tahereh Mafi. I'm so excited to pick up this book. I ended Unravel Me, and it was so unbelievably good. Like, oh my goodness, I was not expecting that whatsoever. So I'm super duper excited to pick up this book, and I'm really just excited to read the rest of the series, honestly, because from where we're at right now, it's just going absolutely amazing, and I'm just so excited to pick up this book. And also, it's Ignite Me. Have you heard what happens in this book? Okay, that's all I have to say. Next, we have Collided by Lauren Asher. I've been wanting to pick this up for a while now, and it's been on my TBR, but I've just not heard good things about this book. I'm gonna be completely honest. I just haven't really like had the urge to pick it up. I did read the first like 40 pages at some point not too long ago of this book, and then cried my eyes out and then put it down. That's all I remember from this book, is me absolutely crying my eyes out 40 pages into this book, and then I just put it down and never picked it up again. Next hopeful for February is Hopeless by Elsie Silver. This is going to be the last book currently in the Chestnut Spring series. I'm patiently waiting for Mr. Harvey's book though. Okay, Miss Elsie Silver, we're all waiting, and we all love Harvey, so we need his book, please. But this is Beau's book, and I'm super excited for Beau because he's been my favorite since the first book. I've been saying that Beau is my favorite, but while I was reading Reckless by Elsie Silver, I had said that Theo Silva was my favorite. Now that I'm thinking about it, and even like, I don't know what video it was, it could have been the reading 150 pages or the video that I'm currently doing, I kind of forgot. No, it can't be the video that I'm currently doing. But I said while I was reading Reckless by Elsie Silver, I'm pretty sure I already posted the video where I was talking about this, but I literally said, I was like, Theo Silva's my favorite boy, and then while I was editing, I said, I literally just lied to you guys. It's Beau all the way. Like, there's no doubt in my mind. And I didn't even read his book yet, but I'm so excited. And lastly, we have Akamov by Sarah J. Maas. I'm so excited to reread this book. I started rereading the whole series 2-3 months ago, and it was going absolutely fantastic, but I think I had to read a few books for a video, so I couldn't quite read A Court of Mist and Fury yet. So now, hopefully this month, I can pick her up. I'm so excited to reread literally my favorite chapters. I'm pretty sure it's 54. Not even the smut scene. 54, the chapter before that, was fantastic. The way I cried my eyes out during that chapter when I first read it. So that is going to be the end of the video. I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. If you did, make sure to like, comment, subscribe, all that fun YouTube stuff, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye!